So I screwed up. I lost my portion of the audio, and I haven't told Brian yet. He's going to give me a lot of crap about it. But we had to take the audio from the Zoom recording that we were on, so it's not going to be as high of quality as you've grown accustomed to over this one episode that you've listened to of this podcast. So I apologize for that in advance. We will do better next time. I will do better next time. And, lesson learned. So hope you enjoy the podcast.
Shall we get started?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I think so.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes, I think so. It's like going from one thing to the other. I got my coffee. I got my notes. Yeah, we're ready to go.
All right. Oh, well, I'll just get started. Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is the first and likely only podcast that is heavy into metal and trombones. I'm your host, Aaron Wilson. I'm a professional trombonist and professor of music. Joining me for this and every podcast is my dear brother, Brian Wilson. He is a longtime heavy metal bassist who now lives in Juneau, Alaska. Together, we are the Brothers in Horns.
There's a marginal improvement.
Marginal. I like the energy on it.
You did emphasize the word heavy. That's about all the improvement I heard, though.
Give me notes. Like, what should I be working on? Like, what?
The beautiful thing about a podcast is you can listen back to it after we post it.
So you're just telling me to do all the work?
I mean, that's like literally the only part that you're responsible for on the whole show.
You're the one with the critiques here. How?
I provided the intro music.
But you're saying like it's I've got things to improve upon, but it's up to me to discover what those things are.
This is only the second episode. And if you would have nailed it on the second episode, then why is somebody going to listen to any other episodes that we're going to release?
I suppose that's true. This kind of fits into the theme of something that we'll talk about later. So I'll just kind of put a pin in that improving over time.
In the industry, that's what they call a teaser.
I don't think so. Actually, that one is. We'll see if you think of it. But anyway, how are you, Brian? Back from Tennessee?
I'm doing okay. It's a little cold up here.
Oh, man, it's cold as hell.
We just had solstice. So, it's like 4 hours of daylight. And the sun, it never even maybe we can share this photo in the show notes of Juneau. The sun never gets above the mountain. And so it's constantly getting like brighter and darker as it's passing behind mountain peaks.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
And we're going to get like 2 feet of snow tomorrow. So other than that, though, it's going, what is it in Brandon? Like negative 50 degrees?
Oh, no, not quite, but it's pretty damn close.
Oh, my God.
With wind chill, it was definitely below minus 30. Like, it was.
Oh, my God.
Which is, like, in December, that's a little unusual.
Did you know this before you moved there, that it would be like that?
Yeah, but, like, I needed a job, so what can you do, man?
I guess nothing.
I remember the first year I moved here, everybody was talking about how the previous winter, Brandon was colder than the face of Mars a couple of times.
Like literally?
Like literally colder than the face of Mars.
Then why are we even flying these machines to Mars to drive around when they could just go to Brandon?
Because there ain't here, man. There's not nothing to look at.
So they could be faking the whole Mars landing by having machines in Brandon right now. Is what you're saying.
Just hear the signs. There's a lot of wheat on Mars here.
Is that a toque in the field over there? Something left behind? Proof of civilization on Mars. It's amazing. Anyways, we should probably get on with it.
So let's get down to it. So This is our second episode, as Brian said earlier, and we are hoping that it is better than the first. We are ready for it to be better than the first. We are more organized with this. We have segments. This is going to be a treat.
We did get a 5-star review on the first episode. I gave us 5 stars.
I gave us 5 stars too.
So we have 2.
I mean, that's pretty damn good. Like, everybody's giving this podcast 5 stars.
Average 5 stars, still not enough. There are not enough stars that they allow us to give for the quality of this show.
I mean, this show, we said that the first one was not going to be as good as this one right here. And if the first one was already 5 stars.
Okay, this one's 6.
This one's 6. We're going to have to find a way to just like copy a star, tape a star into our.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get down to it. We're going to talk about the song of the day, which if you've read the show's title, you know that the song of the day is Mr. Crowley by
Mr. Crowley. Oh my God.
What a great
Mr.
song.
Crowley. I'm so excited that we chose to do the song during the last podcast. We were going to do a Dio song, and I think we'll get to Dio, but we had to keep it in the occult field. And in fact, I think it not only being like the trombone metal podcast, I feel like we have the occult trombone metal podcast crossover on lock. Like, there's no greater podcast in that genre than us. So Mr. Crowley, again, keeping it. Last episode we did Moonchild by Iron Maiden, which was inspired by one of Mr. Crowley's, Aleister Crowley, the famous British occultist, book that he wrote in the late 1800s, early 1900s. This song is also inspired by Mr. Crowley, but it's by Ozzy Osbourne, off of an incredible album. If you haven't listened to Blizzard of Oz, go listen to it right now. This album is insane. It's
so good.
It's the first solo album by Ozzy Osbourne. Came out in 1980. So this is like old stuff. It's just packed with singles on it. You may have heard of Crazy Train. You may have heard of, I don't know, you may have heard of Goodbye to Romance, Suicide Solution, and Mr. Crowley, which was the second single off of this album. Interestingly enough, it's called Blizzard of Oz, and that was actually supposed to be the name of the band. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Blizzard of Oz was supposed to be the name of the band. And if you look at old song credits, you can see the songs are credited to Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. But the record label didn't like that. They wanted to promote Ozzy because he was just coming off of Black Sabbath. So it's this is solo adventure. So anyways,
good choice.
So Ozzy had always wanted to do a song about Aleister Crowley. They're in the studio, they're writing music. There's a deck of tarot cards made by Aleister Crowley, designed by Aleister Crowley. And so that, one thing led to another. Multiple beers and other substances probably, taken by the band. And now they have a song called Mr. Crowley, which is, interestingly enough, I keep calling him Mr. Crowley, but his name is actually Mr. Crowley. And
are you serious?
Yes. So this whole time, Ozzy's mispronouncing the last name of Aleister Crowley, which is about the most Ozzy thing ever, right? So anyway, so this is this song is insane. It opens up with these crazy organs that are their synthesizer organ thing played by Don Airy, their keyboardist. It has 2 whopping Randy Rhoads guitar solos in it, both of which are phenomenal. And we'll talk probably a little bit about how that happens.
Oh, no doubt.
And the song is it's slow, but it's heavy. It's melodic. And I think it would be perfect for the trombone experiment. And I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this song before we dive into it.
This album, The Blizzard of Oz, or Blizzard of Oz, I think it's just no the on it. But this album was actually one of the few heavy metal albums that I actually listened to way back in the day. And I think it was because we played Crazy Train in Pep Band. So I love that song. I love playing in Pep Band. So I picked up the album, and gosh, I listened to the out of this all the time.
Oh yeah,
listening to this. And this particular song is definitely my favorite from the album. And like you said, just the Randy Rhoads solos on there are just so perfect, and we'll talk about those in a moment. And then just Ozzy is it's like vintage Ozzy vocals on there. I love the organ intro, and I watched some videos of the guy playing it actually on the old equipment and everything, and it's just me playing with a modular synthesizer player all the time. I love seeing all the dials on these old synthesizers and everything. So it's so great. But this is a fantastic song, and let's just jump in and talk about what we like. Do you want to start off with the topic, or do we dive right into Randy Rhoads, or what?
I wanted to start off with Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads may not be a household name to everybody, but he's the guitarist in the first two Ozzy albums before a tragic death at the age of 26 in 1982. I regard Randy Rhoads as the greatest heavy metal guitarist of all time. Hard stop. There is no one that's done it better than him, even in just his short career. Prior to joining Ozzy, he was actually a co-founder of Quiet Riot, which I don't think a lot of people know. And then when he left, that band broke up, and then they reformed several years later under the same name, but it was a completely different band because he brings so much weight to the table as a lead guitarist that and they just couldn't continue on with it. This song is actually a great example of why Randy Rhoads is the greatest of all time.
It really is.
I mean, the solos in it are nuts, but just the way he goes about writing them and recording them, I would love to bring this into the trombone world. Every single Randy Rhoads solo, this is insane. Every single one that he's recorded, he records it 3 times and tracks it 3 times. So if you listen,
overlaid 3 times.
Overlaid. There's one that's right in the middle, his favorite one, and then he'll put the next version 2 and version 3 slightly to the left and the right on the stereo array.
Oh.
And so it just gives this really big sound, but the times, if you think about this, the times that you can only hear one guitar during really hard parts, he's playing it so perfectly multiple times that you can't even tell. And it just makes it sound big.
Oh, that makes it all the more impressive because I was reading up on him and his classical guitar influence. And because when I was listening to this originally, for this podcast, I was thinking, God, this sounds like Baroque counterpoint. It sounds like it could be written by Bach or Telemann or Vivaldi, and I come to find out that he was a huge fan of Baroque writing. He's his favorite composer. I think I said it was Vivaldi and Pachelbel. And I found out that he kept playing classical guitar from a very young age, and every single city that they would go to, he would find a classical guitar teacher and take a lesson. And he was constantly practicing. And it's just that influence shows up in this tune big time, as well as on so many of his other songs. But just it's really incredible writing, and because of that, because trombone practices Baroque stuff quite often, even though we had very little written for us during that time, we still play all that transcriptions of it. It does line up pretty well for the horn. So I'm interested in kind of examining that more.
Yeah, that was something when I was listening back to this, they hit so many cool chords in this song. I'm not like you, where I could be oh, that's a minor 8th with a 7th in there or something like that. I don't even think that's a thing. That's probably not even a thing. But I know a cool chord when you hear one, and it's throughout the whole song, they're throwing in these stacked chords that are just nuts, everywhere. So it does sound super classical. If you want a really good example of hearing him play the acoustic guitar, and you may have already seen this, like they released a tribute album to Randy Rhoads in like 86 or 87 or something like that. And the last track on it is called D. And it's just Randy Rhoads with an acoustic guitar, like just playing. And it's kind of cool because you get a glimpse at like what recording an album was like back then. Like you can hear him like start, and he has to like stop, and he's like, oh, there's a plane flying overhead. They have to like wait for this plane to like go by and everything. But it's awesome. It's just such a beautiful song. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so cool. So cool. Well, I have some thoughts on his stuff, and I had some clips that we could listen to. But I was wondering, do you want to go first with your stuff, or do you want me to dive in with mine here?
No, I want you to dive into yours because I have no things. I'm going to completely react to your stuff.
Oh, fair.
Although we have to do a song where you're triple tracking a trombone and playing it back live.
Triple track. Like, how would we do that? Would we pre-record two of the things?
You're going to pre-record it. It's similar to like I want you to do the trombone intro on this too with the organs and have multiple. You got to have multiple tracks.
Oh, believe me, that's in the works.
It's in the works already.
I'm so excited to
He's ahead of the game, everybody.
He's on fire.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, I'm probably stealing your thunder. Go for it.
No, I wanted to, because I listened to the original version of this several times, as I've listened to it hundreds of times before. I listened to 2 different live versions of this, one from the tribute album, and one from like the 40th anniversary of Blizzard of Oz. Just a different one. Both of those live ones taken from the same tour, from the sounds of it. I don't know which one came first, but I in listening to him record it on the studio album, and then sort of the comfort that takes place, like the kind of getting used to playing the solo so many times that you hear in the live stuff where he's starting to toss just little things in there every once in a while, just little slides in there, or like hitting a different part of the harmony or whatever. Mostly the same solo. It's such a great demonstration of learning and growing with a piece of music.
Yeah, the dive bombs, man.
Oh my God. All of those, so that's what you call like the dive bombs, like the slides into, because he loves to do that between phrases where he'll slide into the next thing. And just I found on the live one, it just became so much more epic, every single one of them. And it's just that kind of thing. And it made me think about, like, with him passing so early in life, I remember when I was 25 and I was learning the trombone, and I'd like to think that I'm a lot better player now than I was back when I was 20.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Like it's 13 years of that. But I couldn't imagine being cut short, like that kind of talent being cut short.
Oh yeah.
Like because like he is like really just technically very proficient and just an incredible guitarist. But imagine what he would have been like at 35.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially with his practice ethic. Like it's like, imagine if we had like traded for Marshawn Lynch back in 2010. He does his Beastquake in 2011 and gets a career-ending injury, like right after.
Yeah.
It's just like, you see the potential there, but it would have been a devastating loss not to see all those years of Marshawn. It's the same thing with Randy Rhoads, and too early.
Yeah, I mean, we really only got like 2 albums out of him, and 2 tours. And then the Quiet Riot stuff, sure, but that didn't really like showcase it. It's unreal, and I totally recommend anybody who like has the internet to Google some live 1980, 1981 Ozzy tours and check out the marvel that is Randy Rhoads doing his thing, because he was super early. His showmanship is up there. His work ethic is well documented, and he would have just like, who knows what he would have done with it, like going forward. I mean, Ozzy released like 4, 5, 6 more albums or something like that. And they had like Zakk Wylde, and I'm not a big Zakk Wylde fan. I'm just not a big fan of his. So It's a tragedy. I mean, just even the way he died. Did you read the story?
Accident. I briefly just as I know it was a plane accident, but
so they were like on tour, right? And they parked their tour bus at this airfield, and one of the people on the tour was like commandeered a single engine plane without permission.
Oh, God.
And they were like on the first flight, it was like him and Don Airy. It wasn't Randy Rhoads. It was like the pilot guy, Don Airy, the keyboardist, and someone else. And they were just flying around. It was only like 5-minute flight or something like that. But they were like, Ozzy was asleep in the tour bus, and they were like buzzing the tour bus, like buzzing the tower to try to piss him off. And then they like landed, and they're like, "Oh, who else wants to go?" And like Randy Rhoads is terrified of flying, but he's like, "I want to take some photos for my mom." And so he goes up, and they start buzzing the bus again to try to piss Ozzy off. And on the third pass, the plane clipped the tour bus.
Oh no!
And then just stumbled out, hit a tree, and ended up in a house. And it like blew up, and like they couldn't even identify the bodies. They like identified Randy from like the jewelry he was wearing. It's like just wild, freak thing.
That's such a tragedy.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I mean, we're left with a couple albums that are just fantastic, and I think that you need to give tribute to Randy in our performance. We should do the song. It's totally within our wheelhouse. And you should do like the dive bombs, and you got to throw a couple of them in.
So you think I should be playing the sort of rhythm guitar part?
Maybe, yeah. Just whatever part you're doing, just dive bomb randomly.
I mean, yeah, I think it would definitely work on trombone. I mean, it's like
it's a slide. It's like the one thing anyone can do on a trombone. It's like right. Is that how it works?
yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay, that's about all I know how it works.
We'll have to kind of figure out what it is, because like I definitely like the rhythm guitar parts, like underneath the verses, definitely could do. There is some stuff that I would definitely have to kind of modify a little bit in some of the solos. But you could get the gist of it. You could get the essence of it.
Right.
But that would be super fun.
Yeah. And I think with maybe the solos too, like you don't have to be necessarily responsible for all of it. Maybe you could like interweave in with the guitars.
Yeah, I think there should be a guitar actually taking a solo in that. But I would definitely love to take my own solo in it. And I don't know if I'd probably start from what Randy wrote, and then kind of modify it from there. I mean, that makes the most sense, especially if it's a tribute to him, rather than writing my own thing.
No modifications.
No
for note.
Days off. Some of those ones actually kind of work on the trombone, because you got like, as long as you can kind of figure out the slide positions of it, but you can do like a
really.
Yeah. It's
okay. I need to hear that next episode. That has to be one of the clips.
It'll be a clip. I can't guarantee it'll be perfect. Like that's going to be taking a while to really, really get it. But I will definitely work on it.
If you can do like the first half of the second solo, that'd be insane.
I think I can actually,
because that's the most iconic one. If you like turn on the YouTube and put this song up, like the live version, you can see like where people click on like the most to it. Like the two solos is like where the two like peaks are. Like everyone just skips forward to that part. Yeah.
Oh, that opening to the second solo is just so good.
Oh, it's sick. It's totally.
And I have worked on that a little bit already on the trombone, just to see if I could do it, because like, why not? It does work. I have to use some weird positions in a few places, but it does work.
Yeah. So, I think, I'd be interested in that one. We should absolutely do the song for the concert.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you already came up with the special effects intro with this too, with the fog machine and everything.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, the listeners don't know this, but we actually had some IRL conversations about our concert, because we saw each other over the early holidays.
Yes.
Yes. And so, yeah, I think this is like, I think we should open with this.
Oh,
and
agreed.
and you get the fog machines going, and we got the light trusses up there, and we figure out a way to do a solo spot on like the trombone that's just on stage. And like you play like the background stuff, and then you come up and you like start doing the do 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 no no no, you know, and then then all the house lights come on, like, you know, the Mr. Crowd,
and everybody just goes, "Oh my God!"
yeah, and the crowd will go nuts.
Oh yeah,
I'll jump over a monitor. Yes.
No, this is definitely on the set because it's one of my favorites.
And what's nice about it is the song is so slow and everything that like one, the hardest part is like not to, like, you'll want to speed up because this song is slow. It is a very slow song.
Oh, and they did it slow on some.
Oh yeah. For effect, you know, totally slow. So that's like one of the hard parts. But the good thing about it is that it's so slow, you can maximize the theatrics on stage.
Hell yeah.
Which I will.
No, it is. I loved watching some of the live clips of this, and there's one that's like, I think it lasts like 7.5 minutes, which like the original song I think is only 5.5. So like they're going so slow.
Did you see the TV version of it? It was like it's a really famous, like I don't know what show is from, but like Randy Rhoads is wearing that big like V-neck like thing, and like it's almost like, am I watching this in like 0.5 time or something, or is like the tape, the cassette tape VHS like slowed down?
Because like I seriously, like I checked it. I'm like, did it slow down to 0.75, 0.5? Like
it is ridiculously slow. Oh man, and we should play it just that slow. That'd be so heavy. It'd be so heavy. And it'd give you a chance to actually pull off the solo because it'd be like a few BPM
slow it down.
Yeah, hold up, everybody. We need to take this one down to 45. You know,
we'll just slam on the brakes right before the solo. We'll do a big retard and get rid of it.
We could do like it's like da na 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 na, and we just stop. And then like everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? And then and you can totally change the time signature or the BPMs, the beats per minute, like that way artificially. No one would know.
I don't think we're gonna have to necessarily slow it down, but like that's like a good idea maybe to try, because everybody would be just like waiting to hear that solo and not expecting it to come from the trombone, especially if I don't take the first. So
oh yeah. Like don't do the first one and then like pull. Oh my God, that'd be so sick. Yes. Oh my gosh, people would freak. They'd be like, no way.
Yeah,
no way.
Comes to a stop and they're just like,
yes.
Huge ass
dude,
gesture.
you know what might work for that too for you is like put in a slight delay or a slapback pedal like to your trombone. So even if you're a little slower or not hitting all the notes, it's going to bounce back and it's going to sound like that. Like,
oh man,
I love it.
This could be fucking rad.
Oh, it is going to be 100%.
100%.
Okay.
So we should probably move on because I think we've been talking about this for 30 minutes.
Okay.
which is not enough time to talk about Randy Rhoads. But for our listeners, if you want to listen to the clips that Brian and I were listening to, I have 5 clips that I'm going to put into the show notes. 2 of them are from the 2 of them are just about the sort of rhythm guitar background figures that he plays in both the original and a live version. And then 2 of them are the same kind of thing, but with the solo section. And then I even found a version of an isolated guitar part, which allows you to hear all of the nastiness that he puts in there. But let's go on to the next section, which is
what's the title of the next section?
Well, this is actually kind of segues. It's talking about metal culture, and I wanted to. We've talked about the joys of watching live recordings of these songs being played, and how I've always I find this really fascinating about metal. There's so much more fluidity in what they do in some of these live shows in terms of tempo, in terms of just kind of the staging and everything. And I wanted to know if you had some memorable moments that you've seen in some live performances, or maybe even some of the theatrics that you put together in your time playing with Power Castle or any of the other bands that you did.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I guess we talked a little bit about it on our last episode, Iron Maiden, and like why I love them so much is they not just put out great music, but they put on a great show, a fantastic, or even better show. Like where any concert you go to of Maiden, like the entire set changes every single show, like every single song. Like they play this song, they're done. There's like a whole new backdrop. There's other like specific like things that are happening on the stage. You know, there could be an outfit change or something like that. And it's so fast, and like they're just pros at doing it. Like I've seen everything from like a 100-foot tall wicker man coming up from behind the stage, a floating tank, a World War II bomber, the 777 Sun logo with like the candle like behind them. Every show has like a 10-foot Eddie, their mascot, like walking around on stage. It's just sick. It's totally cool. But I think going to like the live performance of it, that's like you know me, like I like this music. I love to play this music, but I don't listen to metal music a whole lot, honestly, in my day to day. I'm a big hip hop fan. I'm a big electronic music fan. Sure. You know, I like to chill out. But if you're gonna go and play a show, like metal performance is like the best, because you can just throw in those licks all over the place. There's so much interaction between the guitars and the bass and like on set, and you're kind of like just a lot of times you're just like laughing at each other because you could be so goofy about it and like try to throw other people off while you're playing and jumping around. That's part of the fun. Like there will be sabotage. My goal will be to sabotage someone who's in our band while we're playing. Like that's and just as I expect to be sabotaged as well at some point. With Power Castle, yeah, like the venue that we've been playing, that we might play, which I'm going to try to get us into, McCoy's. It was actually really cool that it used to be half the size of what it was. And it was awesome because they had like no room for a stage. And like, they're like literally to get into the bathrooms, you had to like walk to where the performers are like performing. And like, it was like super awkward. Like there are just people coming in. So what they do is they put like, the drum set up on a pool table, and like everyone else would be crammed in, and we'd have like full stacks and all this stuff. And I just remember like so many times jumping off that pool table into like the crowd, and like it's so packed in there that like, you know, it was just people like right in your face, and like, you know, you got to watch out with those, like the head of your guitar, because you're going to be slamming into people. I remember I like slammed into Zach Palmer once, like, like he was in the front row. It was not good. Yeah, I once slammed the head of our singer Mark Benson too, and he was just bleeding down the rest of the show on it. So yeah, I mean, I think the theatrics is part of the performance. You don't play gigs, you play shows, and that's going to be a major tenet that I'm going to be pushing for this concert. Is I don't want it to just be like a stand around, you're playing the trombone or something. We got to be going crazy like the whole time.
And you know, that's one of the reasons why I think people get kind of bored with classical music, because it is some classical musicians, they don't treat it as a show. They treat it as you're going to sit there and you're going to just enjoy the music. And admittedly, there's a ton to enjoy classical music. But if you're not used to listening to that kind of music and you're just seeing a symphony orchestra on stage playing, well, heaven forbid, they're playing a Mahler symphony and it's your first one, and it's like 100 minutes long or something.
Oh, God.
It's just like,
no,
game over, man. It's just not going to work. So it's like, I appreciate the theatrics involved. I appreciate the thought that it is a show It's not a concert, it's a show.
And they're very calculated too. Like, yeah, there's the funny stuff that happens during it, but like there are parts that it's going to be like, this is where the two guitarists come up and they stand back to back at this thing because they're doing like a harmony, and I need to get out of the way because I know that's going to happen or whatever. So it's like, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for us to do.
I can't wait to do it, man.
Yeah. As long as the singer just gets the hell out of the way. Like,
all right. Well, let's move on to the metal trombone section. The very first time that we're going to be listening to a clip of me playing something that I've worked on. Last episode, we were talking about Moonchild by Iron Maiden, and I recorded the chorus for this. I was going to record the verse too, but I ran out of time. I did this today, but I did work on the.
And everybody should know I have not heard this. So this is going to be literally live time. We're both hearing this for the first time.
Hopefully it's not. Well, that's fucking sucked. Hopefully it's not that.
It very well could be.
It very well could be.
It may end up being that way.
So, I'll play what I did, and then I will. I'll send you the images of what I was kind of like preparing with. And
images.
Then just, yeah, I'll show you. It's pretty fun.
Gosh.
I've never done anything like this before. So I'm going to share.
I'm pretty sure nobody's done anything like this before.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
So what am I looking at? Is this like a TikTok? No.
I recorded it on my phone, and then I uploaded it to YouTube, and then it came up like this. This is an old man yelling at a cloud.
This is a YouTube short.
I guess so.
A YouTube short on our YouTube channel, which I didn't know we have.
Because I created it an hour ago.
Perfect. Okay, let's get on with it. So what are you playing here? Second chorus?
This is the second chorus of Moonchild.
Okay. Oh, and is this like going to be the vocal part or the guitar part
this
or what?
Is Bruce Dickinson's vocals on there.
Okay.
And this is like something that I hope to keep on working on and get better at. But I think this is a pretty good start with it. So here it is, Moonchild.
Right. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Actually, I like how you did the vibrato with it. I was wondering if you were going to figure that out.
Well, yeah, it definitely lends itself to a slide vibrato, and the listeners of this podcast, you'll see me doing or moving my right hand to create the vibrato sound. And as a classical trombonist, normally we do something called it's like a lip or mouth vibrato, where we make that sound in the airstream. But like the jazzers and more popular music kind of trombonists will more often do it with the slide. So I thought that would be more appropriate. I have to keep listening to this so I can get the exact kind of rate that he does the slide vibrato, or no, he doesn't do the slide vibrato. The rate that he does the vibrato in his voice.
You're going to match the vibrato.
Not exactly, but just to try to get it even closer to there. But it was really interesting doing this because let me send you. I took an image, took a picture of this, and I meant to send it to you before.
You're sending me on my phone right now.
You have your phone available? I can always
what are you sending? How are you sending me an image?
I'm going to send it on the phone. I'm going to send it on the phone.
This is professional. I love this.
In the moment kind of stuff here.
While we're waiting for this to come in, I'm going to tell you though, I've got some criticism that may be constructive.
Oh, please.
This is going to be hard for you, I think, because you have probably been trained to play pretty your whole life.
No, believe me. That is definitely something on my mind here.
That was too pretty. That was if you listen to him, especially the live version of it, he's just like Moonchild, of the seventh sea. You know, it's just like doing like, it's nasty, it's dirty. I don't want to hear these fade off of notes. I just want this aggression.
I'll keep that in mind, man. Like,
and play louder.
Believe me, that's like part of that is the mixing of it. I was playing loud as fuck. Like there's
because we're going to be like bringing like the full stacks and stuff, you know.
Oh,
like, you gotta,
and I'll be amplified on this. I'll be into a microphone.
I want it to sound angry.
Oh yeah,
like angry.
Well, I'll work on it. I'll keep.
I like it though. No, it's very good. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at the I'm looking at the lyrics to it and a bunch of symbols above each word.
Yeah. So, and for the listeners, I'll put this on our Instagram. We don't have one yet, but I'll make an Instagram. I'll put it on there so that you can see what we're looking at here. But I didn't want to write this out in notation because it just it's a simple enough melody. It's like I don't need to write it out. And two, I'm not going to have a music stand on stage. You know, screw that.
No.
So I wanted to kind of just start from the lyrics themselves. I had this old teacher back in my undergrad named Chuck Israels, and he was like old school jazz, like played with some of the greats, played with J.J. Johnson and played with the Bill Evans trio, and he was a hard ass. But one of the greatest lessons that he taught me, and I didn't take advantage of it at the time, but I certainly am taking advantage of here. It's like when you're learning a jazz tune, you have to learn the lyrics to that tune because that's going to tell you how to play the style.
Interesting.
And so I wanted to start with the lyrics with this. And
you know how I feel about lyrics. I don't even think I know the lyrics to the song.
Oh, it's becoming very clear that you have a disdain towards vocalists, which
absolutely they just get in the way. They get in the way. They don't help you load in gear. They'll like show up with their microphone and be like, "I brought my stuff." Yeah, and then they take the credit for everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. I can't tell you how many.
They're almost as bad as a drummer. And almost as bad as a guitarist. Really, like the bassist is the only one that does anything around there.
Do drummers in heavy metal scenarios, do they actually move their own gear?
Yes, they do. And they can be really annoying about it. Like the Power Castle drummer, Dave Benson, he was a drum collector. And despite playing a metal show and hitting the drums all hard, if anybody looked at his drums wrong, he'd be like, oh, this is vintage. This is from Germany. Don't touch the drums. It's like, dude, this stuff's getting all smashed. I remember I when I play, I always come over and I hit cymbals with my hands, you know, at big parts. And he'd always be like, oh, if you could not hit the cymbal or hey, I'm going to bring this one cymbal that's not nice. And you could I'm going to put it over here and you can hit it. I'm like, Dave, what are you talking about? Dude.
It's like when Marge made the fake cake for Homer to eat up.
Yes. Oh my God. It was so annoying. Yeah. Anyways. Dave's not in the band anymore.
But anyway, kind of going back to this here. So I wrote out the lyrics for this, and I wanted to kind of pay attention to articulations and how he connected certain things. So you'll see, sometimes I wrote a little, what looks kind of like a phrase marking, or I have something that looks like a tenuto with a staccato on it, just kind of give me a sense of what the space is. I had little squiggles for when I got to do vibrato, and I have a couple of rhythms written in there just to make sure that I know what rhythm to play on some of these spots. And I mark in some letter names for notes, just for a little reminder. But I found it a very interesting way to go about it, and I found that it really helped me connect to the music. And then when I started recording it, I recorded it once. I'm like, oh, I marked it this way on there, but it's a little bit different, kind of listening back. So it was kind of fun. And I have, by the time we release this episode, I'll make sure to have the verse done as well. You can see I've started working on that too. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I wonder what your approach is going to be with the Randy Rhoads solo.
I'm definitely not going to do this kind of thing. But
that is interesting. I like seeing the curtain pulled back here and how you're trying to understand how to play this thing.
Oh,
which I imagine is pretty difficult.
But yeah, any more thoughts on the metal trombone? So I guess before we kind of depart from that, like next time I will be working on Mr. Crowley and stuff like that. Probably be working on some other stuff just to kind of get it ready for the concert here because we ain't got much time.
No, we don't. I think you're on the right pace. The composition's going to be the hardest thing. Like it's not hard for us to like play the songs like guitarists and drummers and stuff, but like to know where the trombone's going to come in and out. Because I think on some of these songs, you can do some vocals and some guitar work. I think it'd be cool to write in like a bass and trombone interplay kind of thing for some of this.
Maybe that could be in our song.
Yeah, in our song, and I think there's opportunities in these other songs too. If you pick up some like certain rhythm, guitar parts, and they just play back perfectly.
I think that's a good kind of segue into the next thing, which is an update about the concert. And we've mentioned this a little bit. We've made some progress, folks.
There has been progress. If you remember last episode, I had my doubts. I didn't know if we were going to pull this all off, and we still have a long ways to go. But what's the update?
So I talked to my old friend Jim Farley, who is a singer and guitarist in his own band called Gunslinger back in Olympia, Washington. And he is definitely game, and he says his bandmates will probably be on board to play with us and be kind of like the rest of the members of the band. Which having an established group that's played together is going to make this a lot easier.
It's a huge get. Yeah.
So huge. And Jim's a great guy. So like I can't wait to play with him. He's an old trombonist that I was in band with for several years. So it'll be great to play.
And interestingly enough, the lead singer of Gunslinger, Brian McCoy, was the first lead singer of my first band, Yasmin, in high school.
Yasmin.
Yes, named after Yasmin Bleeth. So from Baywatch. And so, yeah, I think this would be great. I think that's a huge get if they're down to do it. I'm also a huge fan of Brian's brother, Sean McCoy, who plays bass in Bacchus, which is like one of my favorite bands of all time, also from Olympia, who are coming back and playing shows now too. So shout out to Bacchus. If you can get any of their stuff, go give it a listen. You won't regret it. So I think there's a lot of potential here. I love that they've been playing together since like 2015 or something like that. So picking up these songs, I think would be great. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope that they're okay with it. I swear to God, if you just say we'll pay you, they'll be game. So
yeah, that Brinks truck might get backed up to them.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that maybe we can turn this into a 3-band show. The Brothers and Horns, that's our group, will be opening it, followed by either Gunslinger or Power Castle, going 2 and 3, Power Castle being your old band.
Power Castle always headlines.
They always headline.
We don't open.
So Gunslinger will be second and Power Castle will be the closing act.
No, I think, I don't know. I haven't confirmed Power Castle. I've been talking to Tim that he seems open to the idea. So I think it's a possibility. It'll be a heavy lift for me. That's for sure. Playing a show and then playing another show. 45 minutes later, I'll try not to gas myself. And I also have to relearn all the Power Castle songs. So
it'll come back to you. We'll come back to you.
Sure. Yeah. Those are easy.
So hopefully we'll have some more positive updates next time for the next pod. but it's looking great so far. It's like that was a big hurdle getting people to play,
Big time.
so this is really good. All right, we got one more section of the podcast, which is our building the set list section. And in this part of the episode, we're going to talk about, we're each going to bring a couple songs that we might put onto this show that we're doing. And we'll just talk briefly about them, where we think that the trombone can fit in, viability of getting this ready in 4 months' time and all that. But tentatively, we have Mr. Crowley on our list. We have Moonchild, perhaps, which would be a really great one. We have our own song that we want to do, but we've got to fill this out with, I don't know, we've got to have about 45, 50 minutes worth of music, you think?
Yeah, I think a half hour at least. Yeah, probably a half hour. I think we got room for like 6 songs, probably.
All right. Yeah, so we're well on our way here. Why don't you give me one of your ideas first?
I think it'd be great to play a song from a little band from Bellevue, Washington. The only good thing to come from Bellevue, Washington, Queensryche.
Queensryche.
Yeah, maybe do Queen of the Reich, which is like one of their oldest songs. It's heavy AF.
You want to listen to it real quick?
Yeah, put it on.
Yeah.
Queensryche, Queen of the Reich. You get the gist. I bet Jim could hit that high note.
I bet he could. He's got good vocals.
Yeah. So that, I don't know. I was thinking maybe something from Queensryche, maybe that or Revolution Calling or something like that. And then another one, if we are doing this. And
before we go on though, like where do you think the trombone fits into that one? Like where do you
dude, the vocal line, that thing, how high can you play on a trombone?
I don't know how that.
What's the highest note you can play?
Like
Is it a C?
Like an F near the top of the treble clef staff.
An F, that's pretty high up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's definitely in my range, and especially if because like one of the things that I neglected to mention on the metal trombone section is like I got to get a smaller trombone to play.
Does that like affect it?
Well, like I feel like doing this, like I have to push it so hard. It's like if I had a muscle car and I was trying to do like one of those like Tokyo Drift kind of courses. Like it just you can make it work, but it's much more challenging. So like I think I'm going to try to get like a medium bore trombone to play.
Are you going to like switch out your axe mid set to
that would require me to bring both trombones back to Washington. So I think I'm just going to have the one. But
don't half-ass it.
Full acid.
Yes, go all the way.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think doing something from Queensryche could be cool, just because it's like hometown band,
Oh, so, sure.
And I think another one, which we don't have to do an episode on this, but if we are playing with Gunslinger and Brian McCoy's in it, we should do a Yasmin song.
Hell yeah.
We should do the Silent Highwayman. Or Hessian Riot. Like,
nice.
Yes, we should absolutely do one of those songs. I think it'd be hilarious.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, and you could play Tim Dietrich's part.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a recording of y'all playing that so I can learn it.
Yeah, I will.
No, that's cool, man. Queensryche is definitely one we should look. I was listening to them earlier this month too. It's like that definitely have some stuff that we could do in there.
Oh, for sure. Maybe like we should try like Death, like Crystal Mountain or something like that, like as a different style. That could actually be pretty. They're like really. They have like a really complicated like songs. It's kind of proggy a little bit, and they're just so good. So like Death, Crystal Mountain. Like check it out. That could be a possibility as well. Yeah,
I'll take a look. Well, one of the ones that I was thinking was The Wizard by Black Sabbath.
Oh, heck yeah. Of course.
Which is one, a simpler song, which is good because we can't do like the most epic of epic songs for all these. Just from a practical standpoint. But like the trombone could be the harmonica part really easily. I could put some good kind of effects on there, and of course could do like a solo with it, and it's just a great tune. So
bass line's cool on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. So no, that would be a really good one to do. I was also thinking of doing some Judas Priest, and I was thinking of Electric Eye. And doing a bunch of cool effects with that, doing the trombone, doing the vocal part, but could be something else there. But I love Judas Priest, so it would be fun to do one of their tunes. But I'll look into it some more.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, so we'll try to have this one kind of figured out, like kind of a tentative set list by the next pod, just because it's going to be a lot of logistics to figure out,
Of course. And there will also be surprises in this. You can't reveal the whole set list. We have to do
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna drop like a surprise at the live.
Oh hell yeah.
People will be like, what? I can't believe they're trying that. That's crazy. I would have never guessed them to play Freebird after this or something. Like they're playing Moonlight Sonata. No, we'll figure it out.
Oh, that'll be good. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time. Like, do you have an idea? What should our main song be?
I was going to say maybe The Wizard, but we just did an Ozzy thing. So maybe we do a Dio song.
Sure. Yeah, we'll figure out which Dio song to do. Or maybe we'll both bring in our favorite Dio song.
Or maybe we do like two Sabbath songs, like an Ozzy era and a Dio era, like Heaven and Hell and The Wizard.
Oh, hell yeah. That could be good.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Something fun is going to happen next podcast.
There will be an occult reference at some point.
Yes.
The Wizard.
So anyway, hit subscribe, leave us a review, send us an email at brothersandhorns@gmail.com. And be sure to check us out next month. We're trying to release podcast every first week of the first week of every month. And with that being said, throw your horns up.
Give us 6 stars.
6, maybe even 7.
6 stars.
Oh, that's even better.
The Brothers and Horns podcast is produced by the Wilson Brothers. Our editor is Cade Zacharias. Thank you to the band Power Castle for providing our intro and outro music. Thank you also to Grant Hamilton for designing our amazing logo. Check out the episode's show notes for links to the music we discussed today. Our podcast is on all major platforms, and we'll be releasing episodes the first week of every month. Lastly, be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube for additional content, both under the name Brothers in Horns.